My family is very loud, and they're currently listening to K-pop, so I apologize in advance.
About to abuse it, distribute the music and start seeing Blue Street. Granny thought I was gonna be like my daddy, though. Up in the school, I was never on all road. I was the OGs, rolling dice, playing with dominoes. But now I'm going right back on my business, dropping the music, it's solid dependent. I don't plan on quitting till I see a million and tell all the haters I finally did.
2020 was a pretty garbage year, but one of the things that actually wasn't complete trash about this year was the utter deluge of quality games that came out. Like, even the new consoles have things that you can play on them, and that's rare. So, like, this was a pretty good year, but what happens when we have years like this is that a lot of games, a lot of great games, sometimes games that actually have quality that matches up to or is better than the more popular ones, they get swept away in the tsunami. So for this list, we're gonna talk about like more of the more slept on games of this year. Doom Eternal, for example, won't be on this list. Do you really need another nigga on the internet to tell you that Doom Eternal is good though? Like, if we're this far into 2020, damn near 2021, do you really need another nigga to tell you Doom Eternal is good? We all know Doom Eternal is good. We all know Ghost of Tsushima is good. Like, we all know Animal Crossing is good. Like, you don't need another nigga to tell you that. So let me tell you about some games that you might have missed because they might have gotten swept away in that, that content tsunami.
Close your eyes, you'll be here soon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 分.
First game on the list is Omori. Omori was originally announced in 2014 and immediately faded into obscurity. But then 3 years later, in 2017, it came back and faded into obscurity again. But now it's out. I believe it came out last week. It finally dropped, and this game is solid. If you are a fan of Undertale or Earthbound or Mother 3 and you haven't played this game yet, what are you doing? Like, what are you actually doing? It's funny because this game was announced before Undertale was even a thing. And I feel like if this game came out before Undertale dropped, it actually would have had the popularity that Undertale now has, because this game is solid. It has a solid combat system. It's heavily tied to your party's emotions. Pretty much whatever emotion your party member currently has will determine what specific stat buffs and debuffs they'll get. And it'll also make them more effective against enemies that have emotions opposite to them. For example, happy beats sad, sad beats angry, and angry beats happy, and they all get different stat buffs and debuffs based on that emotion. It's really fun. The story's really interesting. It's both heartwarming and horrifying at the same time. The art style is very similar to that of like a kid's coloring book. It's a cool game. And if you're a fan of Undertale or Earthbound, go buy it. Just trust me on this.
Rise and shine, don't wanna work, I'd rather play. Shake my hips and whip my hair, it's a new day.
This new Shantae game was talked about for a solid 2 days and immediately forgotten. And that shit is ass, because this new Shantae game is solid. This is one of the most tightly controlled 2D platformers I have ever played. Like, the controls, oh my gosh, it's just fucking butter. It's great. It's not like, it's not a fucking 10 out of 10 masterpiece, but god damn, dude, harsh. This game should not have been forgotten. The world is interesting. The story's a lot better than the last games. I like the introduction of other half genies. Their characters are pretty cool. And just the controls alone. It's so, it's crisp. It's crisp. So responsive. Jump arc, perfect. Attack controls, perfect. The frames, it can only really be felt by playing it. It's so tight, at least in my opinion. That could just be Shantae games in general, but I don't think so. This game feels a lot more refined than the last one, which most people have agreed that was not as good as, what was the one before that? Half Genie Hero, I think? Whatever. This new Shantae game is solid and should not have been ignored. So many people forgot about it after it came out, probably because of the pandemic. Again, another victim of COVID. Shit is ass, bro. It's completely worth your money though. Like, not a cent wasted. Not a cent wasted. I already made a video about Made a Scare. Made it a few weeks ago. Go check it out. Link in the top right corner. But to keep it brief, it's pretty much Silent Hill combined with Resident Evil, mixed with a very interesting story and some cool ass weapons. It's like it rides that fine line between linear horror game like Amnesia and survival horror game like Resident Evil. There are ways to defend yourself. They're not too intrusive, they're not too powerful, but they do give you enough to keep yourself going and help you survive. It's very scary, it's very fun. The game looks very beautiful, especially for an indie game. It was a solid horror experience all the way through. Legitimately scared in the middle of the day. Turn those headphones up. The horror game is very audio based, and if you want to learn more, video in the top right corner, or just fucking buy it. You know, that new stimmy hitting. See if you got a few doubloons left over. Pick up. I don't know what this joke was. Next game. My Friend Pedro technically came out last year, but it dropped this year for PS4. And since I don't think enough people have played it, and it's also my video, so fuck off. I'm gonna talk about it real quick because it's a really fun arcadey 2.5D, I guess, action platformer shoot 'em up game. Technical jargon, it's fun. It's fun. It has a lot of humor. A lot of the set pieces and levels are just really intense. It's really short, but it has a high amount of replayability due to like the scoring system and the different ways to style on opponents and build your score, which increases your rank within levels. And to go back, the levels aren't too long, they're not too short, it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's just a fun game, just all around. If none of this footage is interesting to you, then you probably won't like it. But if it is interesting to you, give it a shot. It's fun. There's no other way to put it. This game was done so dirty by the pandemic. Oh my fucking gosh. Streets of Rage 4 is how you revive a dead franchise. I'm expecting this level of quality whenever a remake or a random sequel is ever announced ever again. Streets of Rage 4 is everything that this game needed to be to bring this franchise back from the dead. They maintained the original formula while adding tweaks to improve gameplay, and that was it. It's great. The new art style is good. The new characters are good. The old characters are good. They included all the characters from the previous games. You can even play as mini bosses like this nigga who's OP as hell. The music's good. The stages are good. The art style's good. Everything about this game is solid. Everything. It is a 100% fun, concise, and entertaining experience all the way through. Even the story is good. And usually Streets of Rage games kind of have shit stories. Like, they exist, but like, they're not very entertaining. This game's story also exists, but it's actually good. Like, come on. Like, this is everything that this game needed to be. It's everything it needed to be. I'm disappointed in how this game was treated due to the pandemic, because there's 4-player co-op, but it's couch co-op, but that's how it's meant to be played. There is 1-player online co-op, but not 4-player online co-op, most likely because they would rather you have a good 1-player online co-op experience versus a shitty 4-player online co-op experience. But you know, this was meant to be played with 4 niggas in a room with the speakers on high and the music blaring, and that is impossible because, you know, COVID. Still a thing, still exists. Didn't go away with the new year, because of course it didn't. But man, this game was done so fucking dirty. But it is entirely worth the cost of admission. Please buy this game. Holy shit, it's good. Fuck. It's so good. It's so good. Like, just look at it. Look at it. Just But yeah, that was the list. I hope that was at least somewhat entertaining. It probably wasn't, but I had fun. Fuck it, just play the games. That new stimmy hitting. Are we getting $2,000? Who knows? Probably not, because the government is completely inept, unlike 96% of the rest of the world which already figured this out months ago. Vietnam, they ain't heard the words COVID since fucking April. They just made a song about washing your hands and left it at that. But yeah, fuck, it's a pandemic. Wear your mask, wash your hands, wash your ass, and stop having COVID sex. Stop it. Just stop. There is super gonorrhea. That shit should not exist. What the fuck? Y'all niggas are disgusting. That shit is nasty. That y'all can't be this horny. That's fucking nasty. Y'all niggas are nasty. What the fuck?
I got this girl and she wants me to duke her. I told her I'll come scoop her around 8. She said, that sounds great. Shorty girl's a trooper. No matter what I need her to do, she be like, on his own throne, the boss like King Cooper. On the microphone, he flossed the ring. Average MCs is like a TV blooper. MF Doom, he's like DB Cooper. Out with the moolah. I let her get her outfit just to cool her off. She said niggas ain't about shit. I wonder if she meant it. I doubt it. The way it be in her mouth, she can't live without it. And can't live with this. Handle your business.